guys, John McNamara, host of Runnin Vegas. We're talking local sports, business, real estate. If you guys like what we see today, subscribe. Follow us on Runnin Vegas podcast. Today, woo, we got a special guest, Mr. Courtney Beauford in the house.
Fired up, huh?
Fun to have you on, man.
Long
time coming.
Long time. We met in a funny way, huh?
We did.
We
had a very interesting deal.
Yep.
We're going to go right into it?
Yeah, might as well.
We had a very interesting deal that was kind of falling apart, and basically you saved the day. So we'll put it that way.
I put on a cape, I grabbed John here, I threw him on my back, and I flew it. No, I'm kidding. No. The funny part was that we were doing that transaction, and we were both at the same conference.
That was
part
wild.
was funny. I'm like, wait a minute, are you here? Because I think you texted me that you were out of town. I'm like, where are you? Like, I'm in Salt Lake. I'm in Salt Lake. It was funny.
It was crazy.
But it also lets me know what kind of person you are. If you're there doing stuff to make yourself better, then you're somebody that can be around. You know what I mean?
And vice versa.
It's good stuff, yeah.
So we had a deal. It was kind of going sideways. It's getting a little hairy. And I was like, I was glad you were actually there because I was like, I need to go see you in person, tell you in person because I didn't want to text you it. I didn't want. I was like, I saw you, so I'm like, and you were nothing but professional, cool about it. We were trying to keep this deal together, and we got it done.
Yep, we did. And that's exactly. They're always messy, right?
Yeah.
You know, the difference between a good agent and a great agent is getting through the mess. You know?
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully seamlessly that your clients don't even see the mess. You just sweep it and keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was impressed with you.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your how professional and how nice you were going through that because not all agents are like that.
No.
So I knew you're a good agent.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah,
but
sure.
Let's get a little background. Where are you from? What's your story? How'd you get into real estate?
So where I'm from, my dad was in the Air Force. And he spent 22 years in the Air Force. I was born in Japan on an Air Force base. I've lived all over the world. I was born in Japan. I lived in Holland. I've lived in California. I lived in Massachusetts. I moved here from New Mexico. So we came here because my dad was part of the stealth fighter project, the F-117. Oh, wow. And so, is it F-117 B-117? One of the two, the stealth fighter. Everybody knows the very first stealth fighter. And so that's how we landed here. And I've never left. I love it. This is home. It's funny, when you're younger and you move every 2 or 3 years, it sounds cool, and you get a lot of experience, but there's nothing like setting down roots and calling a place home. And so that's what Las Vegas is to me now.
Yeah, definitely. Vegas is a great town. I moved here, 18 years ago. Yep. I've seen a lot of change. You've seen a lot more change than me.
A ton.
Because I did look you up. You've been here for a while.
Yep, 41 years.
So what?
Long time.
Tell us about that. I mean, you've been in real estate for a while, and like the changes of Vegas.
The changes in Las Vegas are really the most epic part of just my experience being here. I mean, I remember when they were building the lakes. You know, I went to Bonanza High School, and I remember my best friend Heath and I used to run down Fort Apache before it was Fort Apache, while they're building the lakes. And now lakes is kind of, built out, done, almost old at this point, and we have all kinds of new stuff. So, the good thing about Las Vegas is we're constantly growing, constantly getting better. Our restaurants have gotten better, our entertainment's gotten better. We have sports teams. We have a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a Stanley Cup. I mean, I never thought we'd have any kind of sport team. So the fact that we even have that, to me, is huge.
And who's your team?
Of course, it's the Knights. But
is hockey your sport, or what's your sport?
No, honestly, man. So in my spare time, when I'm not injured, I'm currently injured, but I do jiu-jitsu in my spare time.
Wow.
So I'll watch jiu-jitsu, I'll watch college wrestling, and I'll watch MMA briefly. But football, soccer, all that, I don't really watch, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Go Knights.
I like combat sports, but go Knights, definitely.
I don't know if you heard, Virtue Real Estate Group has moved to the Lakes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
New office just opened up 2 weeks ago.
Where are you guys specifically?
Right across from at McNamara and the Lakes Lounge.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I know exactly.
I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
I've been here for 18 years. My dentist is right across the street. I never went all the way down.
Uh-huh.
So it's like a whole new world to me, so I'm loving it.
That's funny. You say the Lakes Lounge. I went to Bonanza High School. I graduated when I was 17, and then I got a job at Citicorp right there at that little space there where, that big building that they've never sold.
Yeah.
So I started there when I was 17 years old. I worked there for 10 years, but I used to go to the Lakes Lounge and, for beers and whatever after work. And that dry cleaner right there next to it is where Dana Plato from Different Strokes worked before she died.
Oh.
I don't know if you're old enough to remember Different Strokes.
I don't know. Well, I know of it. I'm
What
not
you talking about, Willis? Come on, man.
I'm not familiar
I'll
with
be
it, though.
54 tomorrow, so maybe that, you know,
wow,
maybe
okay.
that's, maybe
Oh,
that's,
yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
I stalked you on Facebook.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. So other than that, you know, Las Vegas is just, like I said, it's been my home for 41 years. I love it here. I don't think I did actually leave here once. When I was about 25, I left to go to Colorado. I thought I would like Colorado, and I lasted about a month and came right back. It's just so different. Once you've been here, to have access to things at any hour of the night, you're not going to get that anywhere else. I don't care where you are. Even in New York, it's just not that way.
Yeah.
You know, Las Vegas is its own special thing.
It really is. I'm originally from New York, upstate, not the city, but I agree with you. Like, I've been here for 18 years, and there's only a couple. I like Nashville. I like Austin. But San Diego's kind of cool, but there's something different about Vegas.
For sure.
Where it's hard to leave. You live in, like, just a life of luxury to me out here. Coming from upstate New York. Where
for sure.
Everything's falling apart every day, and it's winter for 9 months.
It's true. I mean, the only thing we have here, really, if we're being honest about as far as natural disaster go, you know, we don't have, you know, we have a little bit, and we have a, what do you call it, a monsoon season, but that's temporary. We have a little bit of earthquake here and there from California, but it's just hot. That's it. We don't have, you know, floods that'll, you know, pull your house away. We don't have hurricanes and tornadoes. We don't have any of that. We just have heat.
How do you do with the summers now?
The same as I did when I first got here. Horribly. That's the one thing, you never get used to it, man. 41 years and I'm still not used to it. I hate it.
See, I felt like I was when I first moved here, but the thing was always going to hike. Like the beginning of the summer, I was always good. I feel like the last 2 years, I've been the biggest baby. Like, my energy just gets sapped. I'm like already over it. So maybe like I'm a true local now. I don't know, but
it's funny. This year seems to be a little bit harsher. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but for example, so my wife does a lot of gardening, and we have this really nice lemon tree. We get a couple hundred lemons every year, but the sun has been so heavy this year, it's literally burning the tree up. Like we've got umbrellas all the way around the tree, and it's been a rough summer, rougher than normal, in my opinion at least. But we see that every year too, though, so, you know. Yeah.
Well, let's get a little bit back to real estate. You've been in business 22 years?
No. So I started in
Zillow's lying.
Let's see, 2011? Yeah, 2011 is when I got my license. I took my test in 2011 at the end of the year, and then 2012 is when I actually got the license. So since 2012, and I got into real estate by happenstance. I was a stagehand at the time. I had actually worked for Syntex Homes for many years, and before that, I worked for DuPont Flooring Systems. DuPont Flooring Systems was a residential flooring contractor. So we contracted well, actually, builders contracted us. D.R. Horton, we had, at the time it was Greystone, but it's now known as Lennar. We had Richmond American. We had a bunch of different builders, and we would supply flooring to them. And through those relationships, I was able to start working for Syntex Homes. Well, then Syntex gets bought by Pulte Homes, and everybody gets laid off. And then the market crashes. And so, you know, I had to kind of reinvent myself. I ended up being a stagehand with my friend's company, Stagehouse. So I did that for maybe a little bit over 3 years, which was a blessing because it really taught me how to work hard in a different way. The work was very difficult. We would do 14, 16-hour days, and it was physical. You're on your feet. You know, we're throwing decks. We did staging, so we did drape and staging for shows. We did a lot of work at the Bellagio. We built stages for presidents, things like that. So it was a cool little business. But what happened to me there is I got hit on my motorcycle. I ride Harleys in my spare time. I got hit by on my bike, ended up in a wheelchair for about 9 months. I couldn't walk because I had shattered my leg in like 10 or 11 places, so I couldn't walk for a while. And while I was doing that, my buddy Daryl, who I got into high school with, Daryl Hanna, who's also an agent and half of our team leaders, asked me if I wanted to sell real estate, and I thought about it before. My first wife was a real estate agent as well, and she always told me I'd be good at it. And I do know a lot of people. I've been here forever. And so so here I am. So I went and took my test while I was still laid up at home, passed it, and from there was off to the races every day, working every day, and then not much has changed since then.
Yeah. And what year was that when you got here?
2011 is when I took the test. 2012 is when it came in the mail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So big difference 2011 today.
Yes, it's funny too. I remember calling people, cold calling. We did a lot of calling. I mean and the reason why I was able to walk into real estate and hop on the phone and start calling people is when I worked for Citicorp as a youngster. I was a phone call, a customer service rep. So I had a headset. I was on phone 10, 11 hours a day. So being on the phone was very comfortable. So getting into real estate and calling people, cold calling people was never an issue for me. So I'd spend my days making calls, and that's kind of how I kind of got my feet wet.
Yeah, that's
So,
great. That's
yeah.
how I built my business over the years. You still cold call, or what are your pillars of business
Not
now?
nearly as much as I should. You know,
All of
luckily
us.
yeah, exactly.
We could all call more,
For
right?
sure, yeah. Well, luckily the thing happens is over time, as you start building and stacking that clientele and word of mouth spreads, it becomes its own machine. So I've got several different sources. Some of it's from cold calling, a lot of it's from social media, my sphere of influence. You know, just the normal things that we use to get business. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you like most about real estate in the game?
I like the deal. I just like doing deals. I like navigating and figuring things out and winning. I love that part of it. And it's difficult. It's funny too, because that's also what I hate about it. You know, real estate is people ask me, how are you doing? What do I always say? What's that little term I say? Living the dream and the nightmare at the same time, because sometimes it's exactly like that. You know, you see this shiny thing at the end of what you're doing, but during it, sometimes you're not sleeping. Sometimes you're worried about your clients. Sometimes sometimes that repair might not get done. You know, what's wrong with that roof? All these different things. And, you know, I think that's the part that the client doesn't see and they shouldn't see. But a lot of the times, you know, I think what makes an agent great is by caring about that outcome for your customer. I mean, that's the main thing. You know, it's really cliche. They say it's not about the money. It's secondary. The money is actually secondary. If you're doing what you're supposed to, you're going to be making a living. And so once you've got to that point, now you really can focus on making sure that you're doing things in the right way, being very ethical. Always, you know, my main thing is I always want to make sure I'm clean. I want people to always be able to say, I did the right thing for them, right? I think that's
It's something about sleeping good at night.
It's true.
You know?
It's true.
But I agree with you. For me, for anybody who goes in real estate, and I'm kind of hit on the nose, like, you're going to go through a lot of personal growth, like it or not.
For sure.
It does not it's not like the reality television shows that you watch.
No, it's not.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have sleepless nights, you're always growing in different ways.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's if you want to grow, real estate's a fun business. And I agree with you, because I've been in the business for now 22 years. And there is months where I'm just like, man, I'm amazing at this. And there's months I'm like, do I still got it?
Right.
20 years later.
Right.
It messes with you. So you got to work on your mindset and your, you know.
It's so funny, and like I was saying, part of my journey was getting connected with Daryl, and Daryl, who I've known since I was 11 years old. Me and Daryl go back to junior high, so we have a huge history. But we always are checking in on each other. He's like, dude, no one's calling me. What is going on? Does nobody like me anymore? What's happening?
Right.
And we both do that, because no matter how long you've been in, it's a very relationship-driven business, and when things are slow, it's very difficult not to take those things personal, right? You know, sometimes a lot of times when people aren't calling you back, it has nothing to do with you. It's just not their, it's just not that time. It's not the right time. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure that you understand that it's personal, but then it's not personal, depending on what the circumstances. You know,
it's good to have friends in the business though and talk about it.
For sure.
Because I know for myself, once I realized like everybody else is kind of going through, I'm like, okay, we're all doing this together. How do we help each other to build our business and work on our mindset? So,
definitely. Question
for you though. Would you take the bottom of the market? You went to the bottom market back in 2011. Would you take that market when we're selling $110,000 homes? Or would you take this market, $500,000 homes, less sales?
I could do either one. I don't think I would lean towards either one, because I always feel like there's an opportunity in any market. If prices are down, people are going to buy. If prices are up, people are going to buy, especially in our town. We are a transient town, number one. We have 2 Air Force bases. We've got VA hospitals here. We have people in and out constantly. People get orders, they have to go. People get orders, they have to come in. We're always going to have a customer to sell to. So you just adjust your expectations and you adjust your method to get that thing accomplished.
I love that.
Yeah.
Every market's a good market.
Every market's a good market. And I know people say that, but it's so true. Like people are worried about prices. What are you worried for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's either good or for this client, or it's good for that client. You know, sometimes it's not the right time to sell. Sometimes it's not the right time to buy. Right now, for me personally, I think it's a great time to buy, especially if you are cash poor. The reason I say that is because people understand now more than ever. The conversations I have with my sellers, the first thing I say after I pull comps is, we're going to need to be slightly under what these comps say, because that we are in a declining market situation. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, assume that you're going to have to kick in some dollars to help the buyer get in. It's not personal, and I think because of the way it's been for the last couple of years, that's more palpable to people. You know, in our market, because things are usually moving so quickly, sellers are very used to saying, "Oh, you need closing costs? Buy, next person." Well, guess what? It's 3/4 of the world that you'd be saying bye to if you had that attitude today. So if you want your property sold, understand you're going to have to help people maybe get some closing costs, help them buy the rate down, and it's mutually beneficial. So if you've kind of plugged those numbers in and you've set the proper expectations for your seller, you know, we're getting it done left and right. I'm getting all my buyers' closing costs. I'm getting the price typically that we want on the sell side as well. This might take a little bit longer, but the strategies that I think we use are effective to get the house moved.
Yeah, I think that's a great point you bring up, because I was on the phone the other day with somebody like, it's a terrible time to buy. I'm like, this is one of the best times to buy, because sellers and builders, they're willing to give incentives for closing costs or buy down the mortgage rate. Like this doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't.
So it's a different market. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's a great time for buyers to get in. And the silver lining too is we are seeing a little depreciation, but it's not like, we're not seeing like back in the market back in 2009 when it was depreciating 3% a month. I think it's depreciated about 2% in the last 6 months, give or take. So it's come down a little bit, but it's nothing harsh.
No, it's not. People have very short memories, though. You know, they always think, you know, it was so much better then, and now this is so horrible. The truth of the matter is that the rate is a temporary thing, and I hated that term with, you know, that whole marry the house, date the rate nonsense. I always hated that because it wasn't helpful. The truth of the matter is that the rate is temporary. It will go down at some point. We don't know when. We're just guessing. I would love to tell you that it's going to be 6 months from now, but it's probably not going to be 6 months from now. But what is important for you to know is that competition is so much lower. In the Las Vegas market, when things are going well, if we had a 4% rate right now, you'd be getting your tail kicked in by people that come in with big bags of cash from California that just sold their home, that their parents passed on to them, that they originally bought for $50,000, that was now worth $800,000. So they got a big bag of money, they slap it on the table, and now you as a local can't get that home. That's really what it is. So competition is low. Your payment's going to be a bit higher right now because of the rate. But at the end of the day, you slid in under the radar. So when that rate does go down, you know, everybody and their mother's in, and you're already done. And guess what? When all those people jump in, guess what your price does? You know what I mean? It's really, to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, I don't know why more people aren't taking advantage, but the people that are winning.
I agree with you. Yeah, and if you really don't like the rate, I would take the closing costs. But if you really don't like the rate, you can buy it down a point or two.
You can.
And it can be a lot more reasonable.
Yep, so. And like I said, that's a short-term situation for you. The rates are not going to stay where they are now. They're just not. I mean, that's a fact. That's not my opinion. That's a fact. It's just a question of when.
I agree with you. So we were talking a little. Not everybody likes to do market predictions on this show. But we were talking a little market before we hit this. What are your thoughts? Yeah,
my thoughts, and we were just talking about this in our sales meeting Tuesday. We think that we're looking at 18 to 24 months of questionable rates. I think that's a real number. I think in maybe another year and a half to 2 years before we start seeing some relief. And that's, you know, we'll blink and that'll be over. I mean, COVID was 6 years ago. You know what I mean? So I mean, it seems like it wasn't that long ago. So, you know, the older I get, it seems like the faster time goes. So 18 months to 24 months of just kind of sucking it up, tightening up your belt, dealing with that bigger payment for the big payout, you're going to do very well. The long play always beats the short.
For sure.
Yeah.
And if you're an agent here, this is a great time to get market share, because we're going to have a ton of agents leaving the business. We already have.
We already have.
And we're going to see more.
87% of agents have not done a transaction this year.
Crazy.
87%. That's crazy talk. That's the highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been kind of skewed, 1%, does 90% of the business, but 87%, I don't know how these people are paying their bills. That's insane,
Yeah, I think, some do this as a hobby, but
True.
It's hard that market is gone.
Yes.
But if you're full-time, you're working it, you'll do deals.
Right.
It's just, you got to dig a little bit, more, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know that it even makes sense as a unless you're really doing some numbers as a part-time or a side hustle with real estate. I don't know if the cost for being an agent would pencil if you're only doing 1 or 2 deals a year. It doesn't make sense.
No.
Now, why would you do that? So
No.
pack it up until you can jump back in full force, or just let the professionals do it.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
me and you.
Yes, sir. So would you give advice, like say there's a new agent out here and they're looking at the spot right now. Is there advice you give to, because you've been doing it on a high level for a long period of time now, what's the advice you give an agent out there that's trying to break into the business?
I would say get yourself on a team, a good team that you're comfortable with. I would say don't worry about the split. That's what people worry about the most. What's my split going to be? How much? You don't even know what you're doing yet. I mean, it's a good year or two before you somewhat know what you're doing. That's a fact. So I would say get yourself on a team, get some mentors. I would also say be a self-starter. One of the things I think that gives me an edge is I'm always willing to hop in and do a seminar or do a Zoom where I get to learn something new, something that I can use. And it's not always real estate stuff. I do a lot of video, I love video stuff. So I do a lot of self-improvement where I learn how to operate my cameras and make sure things are, that can do things on the fly. I think building your skill set to help your customer market their property is phenomenally helpful to making you a great agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, and especially in the growth part of it, because when I got in real estate, I'm a dinosaur in real estate now, but the split was 50%.
Yeah.
And I didn't even blink at that.
Right.
I was like, I just want to learn. I love that advice. Just take 2 years to just learn, because I know even myself, if an agent wants to join our team, if they're talking splits in the beginning, they're not a fit.
Right.
They're not
Right.
growth minded, and they never last.
Right.
Because they're worried about.
And you're never going to hear the end of it. That's all they're going to worry about. They're going to get in one deal and they're going to be worried, well, how much am I getting?
Yeah.
I don't have the energy for that. I'm not very good. I've had a couple of good junior agents that have worked under me. Christina was my favorite. She was a hard worker. But it's difficult to find people that have the same kind of passion for the business. Because I think to be successful in this job, you have to love it. You have to. I mean, I hate it and love it sometimes, you know what I mean? But mostly I love it. I like the helping people. I like also seeing what I'm capable of. I remember, when I first got into the business, some of the agents that had been around a while, I'm not doing a $50,000 deal. I'm not doing a $100,000 deal. I'm like, I'm thinking, because I'm broke, $3,000? What are you talking about? Give it to me. You know what I mean? And now I'm kind of like, but all those things have opportunities. Jillian always tells this story about this person that she was helping. There was a rental that led her to a $25 million land deal. And It's a real story. It really happened. So you can't discount anybody. Discernment is the order of the day, and to be able to kind of identify. And like I said before, relationships are so important in our business. Definitely.
They really are.
Yeah.
Especially with the shift, because I've always been a big prospector, but it's hard to get people on the phones now.
It is.
And I'm like you, doing a lot of video, but it's the conversations, it's relationship building. It's now meeting face to face more.
Yep.
Because I think more people appreciate that now. I don't know what you see in your business, but.
Yep. I agree with you. In fact, we used to, back in the old days, me and Daryl would door knock, which I can't door knock now. Back then we would do it, and it was uncomfortable. But now, to me, it's a safety issue. Especially now that I have my partner at home. I don't want her answering the door to a stranger. Definitely not a 6'2", 250-pound stranger.
Right.
So I get it. You know what I mean? And I remember walking to the door, knocking, and then stepping back a few feet so people felt comfortable. But that's just not, for me, I don't think it's a model that works. And I don't think it works for a lot of people just because of how the world is. It's not really me or you. It's just what it is. But video is the thing about video that's great, and the thing about social is great, is that you're really hitting so many people. You're touching them. And you don't even know a lot of those people that you don't even know have viewed your video or paying attention to you, they pop up, a year and a half later wanting to buy or sell, and you're like, I didn't know you were paying attention. So don't always think because you don't have a gazillion followers or because you're not getting comments or not enough likes, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is that you're making a calling card for yourself. I'll tell you, if a client wants to use you and they Google you and there's nothing there to see, you're done.
Yeah.
So you better make sure that you've got your resume in place. And that includes your social media, that includes your website, that includes everything that you do as a professional. The biggest mistake I think newer agents make is they don't work it as a business.
Yeah.
This is a business, and if you don't work, you're not going to eat.
Yeah,
Period.
I agree that. Yeah, it's funny on socials are fun because you'll be out and about and then somebody's talking like, oh yeah, you did that Spartan or whatever, and I was like 6 months.
Right. It's almost creepy,
yeah,
right?
how do you
It's
know
almost
that? But
creepy.
you're like, oh yeah, it's social
Yep.
media. Like that's actually normal. It's not creepy.
I have a YouTube channel too, and what I would do is I would walk around and do home tours of all and that started during COVID when we couldn't do open houses or anything. So I was at Costco and I got myself a GoPro. I started doing a bunch of videos, but it got to a point where I'd show up to go do videos, and people would see me going to the models and like, oh hey Courtney, I watch your videos. Now on one hand I'm excited because I'm like, oh wow, people know who I am.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, why didn't you call me? So now I'm obsessed over that, right? It's never okay, this is it. There's always another layer that you got to kind of overcome. But again, like I said, it's still cool, and you do get business from it, and it's amazing. It's fun too. I like it. I enjoy it.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how the business has changed so much because I'm a big caller and now people don't like to call as much.
Right.
But I like it because I can get tonality. I can kind of, there's usually questions within questions.
You can piss people off with text because text does not display intent or tone or all the things you're talking about. You're so right. And people don't like to pick up the phone.
I'm analytical.
Yep.
So I'm like, I don't like, I'll text, but I'm like, we're having serious conversations on the phone.
Yep. We have to. You have to make sure that you're being received the way that you would like, which is why some of the prospecting I do is I try to go to events outside of real estate events. Real estate events are good because your relationships with your fellow agents will also help your business.
Yeah.
If you call on one of my listings, dude, you're my guy. How can we help? And that helps your client and it helps my client.
It does.
The fact that we are able to figure things out. That deal that we did, had we been at odds with each other, I'd just been like, fine, cancel, we're done.
Yeah.
But no, we worked together to get that done. It wasn't me, it was us.
Yes.
And I like that, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, we became friends through it too.
Exactly.
So, and then you work with each other, and then you're excited to work with each other in the future.
For sure, because I know that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get it done.
Yep, same.
Yeah.
I only got a little bit more time with you.
Yeah,
so
for
we've
sure.
been talking a lot of real estate.
We have.
But let's talk a little fun. Like, what do you do for fun? You travel?
I don't travel much, honestly. In fact, I need to go on a vacation. I've been on one forever. But the things I do for fun, I do jujitsu when I'm not injured. I have a Harley I ride. I shoot. I love to shoot.
Oh, you shoot?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do I do? That's it.
You sound like me.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
I do
I'm a
football
boring
and
guy.
I do real estate all the time.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, if I'm being honest, I work and go home.
Right.
That's really what I do.
I'm the same way.
But that being said, for the first 35 years of my life, I did everything. So I'm good. I've done plenty.
I got you.
You know what I mean? I've done plenty. I can just stay focused now.
Okay.
So,
do you have any personal or business goals coming up in the near future?
Yeah, always, man. I've always got goals. I stepped into the luxury realm of our business the last couple of years and trying to really grow that part and constantly bring up my price points. And I enjoy working with those clients. I enjoy working with all my clients, but I find that a challenge, especially when I never could conceive of myself selling a $500,000 home, then an $800,000 home, then a $2 million home, then an $8. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool, and the funnest part. I'm a caregiver to my mom and dad are old. My dad's got cancer, but I enjoy our talks because when I tell him these kinds of things, the kind of deals I'm doing and the people that I'm associating with, I can just see in his face I can tell he digs it. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
And that means everything to me. I enjoy that part of it.
That's fun. Yeah, kind of similar. I've been doing this for a while, but the last couple of years working with Darren is getting my price point up as well, which we've been able to achieve, which has been great. But what have been the lessons within that? Like, what have you learned from?
I learned that people are people. They put their shoes on just like you do.
Yeah.
They may have a different set of problems, but they have problems.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I don't care what the price point of the house is. You are the expert. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't know what's the best, especially when they're coming from a different market. They don't do what you do every day. I'm very confident that I know what to do to get the deal done. So if the guy's worth $50 million and he's telling me something I know is not accurate, it's my job to protect him from himself,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So him or her.
Yeah.
So I think I appreciate that part. I like that part of it as well. Confidence is key in our business. The minute you sound or look weak, you're done.
That's true. That's good advice.
Yep.
We're going to wrap up with that. Thank
Thank
Courtney
you so
for being
much for
on.
having me, bud.
If you guys are looking to buy or sell real estate, hit him up.
Or
Guys
this
are
guy.
Runnin Vegas. Take care of yourself today.